Hi everyone! Today I'm going to show you how to make these winter themed cards using the Snow Buddies stamp set by Honeybee Stamps. And we are going to create a snowy effect on our backgrounds by using some pigment ink on dark cardstock. And I thought it'd be fun to make two versions of this card, a little snowman version, and then of course every snowman needs his snow lady. So later on in the video, we'll also make the Snow Lady version as well. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start by taking my white pigment ink. This is Hero Arts white pigment ink. And I'm going to start in the center of the cardstock. And I'm going to work my way towards the edges, but being sure to leave a lot of the cardstock showing, because that's going to help create the effect of like a little snowy cloud surrounding our snowman if we leave the dark edges there. Once I finished my inking, I'm going to stamp our little snowman on some Express It blending card paper. And I use Memento black ink, but any Copic friendly ink would work here. And I'm going to start coloring in his little carrot nose, and then I'm going to add my base layer to our little hearts. I'm going to add some shading along the bottom of the nose, and then I'll fill that in with my mid-tone color. And the yellows I use there are YR12, YR15, and YR18. We're going to add some little rosy cheeks with an R00, but whatever color you use for your rosy cheeks will work fine. Like R20 would work, or R81, or RV00. Those are some good colors for rosy cheeks. And this snowman, we are going to shade in cool gray tones. For our lady snowman, we'll shade her in warm grays. I just wanted to show you the difference there so you could decide which you like best. And I'm just going to work my way from the edges of the snowman towards the middle, leaving the center of the snowman pretty light. So I'm not going to add any color to the center. And I'm just going to keep fading out my ink as I get towards the middle. So I'll start with my darkest cool gray along the edges. I'll blend it out with a mid-tone, and then just keep blending and blending with lighter colors until I have a little bit of whiteness in the center of the face and the center of the belly. For the hat, we're going to color the hat in with some cool grays too, and we are going to make the hat appear black. So it's always very interesting to me that the same colors that you use to shade white also create black. And I think the only darker color that we're using here is going to be the C7 along the edges of the hat. So it's only like one shade darker than the snowman, but because we're using more of that, of the darker shades, it'll appear black instead of white. I'm going to add some shading to our hearts with R29 and R24. And then we're going to give our little snowman's hat a band of violet. So I'm going to color that in with some violet markers. And now we're going to stamp our little stick arms for the snowman, and I'm using some Gina K Cocoa Brown ink here. I'm going to take the dies from Honeybee Stamps from the Snow Buddy stamp set and just use that to cut out our snowman and the little hearts and the hat and then the arms as well. And then I'm going to take it to my die cutting machine and cut everything, and now we can work on adding our sentiment. This sentiment is from the Let It Snow stamp set by Honeybee Stamps, and I'm going to stamp it with Versamark ink, and then we're going to add some white embossing powder over that and then heat set it. And I made sure to add it towards the top so that some of that dark blue cardstock shows through. And now we're going to add our snow, and I'm going to start by adding some large flakes of snow with my white gel pen. This is a Signo Uniball white gel pen. And now I'm going to add my smaller flecks of snow, and I'm just going to add that all over the background, focusing on the edges. And then I'll add a few medium-sized flakes as well, just to even things out. We want it to look like it's a real blizzardy scene around our snowman. I popped up the focal panel on some foam tape and attached it to an A2 size card base. And I also popped up our snowman and the little arms and the hat on foam tape as well. And then we're going to add two little hearts that are also part of the Snow Buddy stamp set, and I'm popping one up on a little foam dot and then the other on just a small piece of foam tape. And the reason that I did that was because they're two different heights. So I want the little snowman, the little heart that's closest to the snowman's face, to be popped up higher so it looks closer to us, and the little heart in the back will look farther away because it has less dimension. I added glossy accents to the nose, to the hearts, and to the band of the hat, and then just some glitter pen to the black of the hat, just to make things look a little bit interesting and fun. And that's it for our little snowman card. So now we are going to move on to our Snow Lady card, and I'm taking a deep red cardstock here, and I did cut it with a die, a stitched rectangle die that's about 1/4 of an inch smaller than an A2 size card. And I'm using that same technique with a white pigment ink, just starting at the center and blending out to the edges. And for our little lady snowman, she is going to be wearing a Santa hat, and she's going to be shaded in some warm grays. And I'm going to use the same coloring technique that I did for the snowman, for the first snowman that we had done. And I'm just going to, again, blend out my grays until it kind of fades out into nothing towards the center of the Snow Lady's belly, and then also the center of her face. For her cheeks, we're going to give a little R000, and then I also added a little bit of that shade to the body too, just to make things look a little bit fun. For the nose, we're coloring the nose in the same colors we did for the snowman. And then for the Santa hat, I just laid down a little highlight area with my yellow red. Now we're going to color in the Santa hat, and I'm going to start with my darkest red, the R39, around the edges and any of the shadow areas. And then R29 and R24 are my midtones, and that will complete the hat. Now for the fluffy part of the hat, we're going to add some texture by adding little dots of BG000 and then warm gray 5. Just some little dots just on certain little areas of the hat there. And then we're going to add a little W3 extending a little bit farther than the W5, and then we'll blend it together with W0. And by just adding the color in those little dots, do you see how it adds that nice fluffy texture to the hat? Makes it look like a real furry Santa hat. For the little ornaments and our hearts, we're going to color them in some pink shades. So I'm using our 81, 83, and 85, and we're going to do the same for the gifts. So for our little Snow Lady card, I wanted to stick to a pink and red and white color scheme. I guess I'm starting to move away from the holiday spirit and more into the Valentine's Day spirit. I'm getting really excited to make some Valentine's Day cards, and red and pink are traditional Valentine's colors. So I am just going to continue shading our little gift box, and then we'll add some color to the scarf, and we're going to make a red scarf. So I'm using that same technique of adding in my highlight area with my yellow red or my orange color, and then applying my darker color around the edges of the scarf and in the shadow areas, and then my midtones down the center. And I just love the glow that yellow gives. Just even though we don't let any of the yellow show through here, it just it gives a little bit of a glow. It gives something special to the reds, I think. I'm gonna add some highlights with my white gel pen to our little Christmas ornaments, and then we'll add some polka dots to our ribbon. And then once I'm done coloring, we will get the die cuts for our Snow Lady and her little accessories, and we will die cut them. And then we can start working on putting the card together. So these are all the pieces. I just love how perfect die cut pieces look. So we're going to use the sentiment that says, "You warm my heart." And this is from the Snow Buddies stamp set. Actually, I'm sorry. It's either the Snow Buddy stamp set or the Let It Snow stamp set. One of those. I will have to check and add it in the comments below. I'm adding snow just like we did for our little snowman. Same technique with the large flakes and the smaller flakes. And then I am going to put this all onto an A2 size card base, and I popped it up on a layer of foam tape. And we're going to do the same with our little snow lady. So she is popped up on a layer of foam tape, and then we're going to add her little scarf on top, and then her little arms that are holding the ornaments. They're also popped up on foam tape. And I'm just going to tuck them in behind her body, add a little present to her hand, and then our 2 little pink hearts, which are also popped up on some foam tape, and a little present right behind her. And then we'll add glossy accents to our hearts and to our little Christmas balls. And then that is going to complete our Snow Lady card. And then finally, we'll just put some glossy accents on her nose like we did for our little snowman. So let's take a look at her. She is so pretty. I just adore the Snow Buddy stamp set. There are 3 little snowmen that you can make, and all different kinds of accessories that you can use to mix and match to make lots of different kinds of snowmen and snow ladies. Here's our little snowman, and let's just look at them side by side. I think they are the most adorable little couple. And that's all I have for you today, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I really hope that you give these cards a try. It's so much fun, and I think they would make a perfect winter greeting card for any of your friends or loved ones. Thanks a lot, and I will see you again soon in the next video.